welcome back to Flying Solo with Kat. And today, I know you guys are probably expecting, okay, we're going to talk about the Bad Batch, we're going to talk about the final season. Super exciting. Yeah, no. I'm actually going to save this week's episode to pair it with the finale episodes. I think there might be two or one. Basically, I just came back from the Disneyland Star Wars night, and if you haven't seen my previous video on me talking about last year's, I wanted to do one talking about my experience on this series. And considering I, did it basically last night, I wanted to talk about it with fresh thoughts and things that I would change, my opinions on this year and what I did differently, and what I recommend you guys not doing. So I'm really sorry if you were expecting a Bad Batch video, but that will be absolutely next week, talking about the finale, which is really exciting. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoy, and let's just get into it. So for early access, basically for all these nights, they have, it's not just Star Wars that they have, if you guys didn't know. They have like a Valentine's Day night. They have they just had a Disney Channel night, which was really, really popular. They have Christmas events. They have a whole bunch of things. So for these events, though, you actually get into the park early. The event did not start till 9 o'clock, but we were able to get in at 6. So the nice thing about that was we were actually kind of walking around with the rest of the park, and a lot of stuff was open, of course. So a lot of people will go on rides if they want to. My thing is merchandise. You get the merch first, especially while the park is still open. Absolutely, while the park is still open. So we headed over to merchandise, which was by Hyperspace Mountain. And last year, we were able just to kind of walk into the room and get your merchandise. This time, they actually had a line outside. And then once you entered inside, it was like if anyone's been to a Comic-Con or just a con in general, how you have those tape strips that are in rows. That is exactly what we were doing. It kind of pissed a lot of people off that it was that way. I truly don't mind waiting at all if, I know where the end goal is. Probably waited about 40 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but quite honestly, I really didn't mind. I was, of course, cosplaying, and I was getting a bit hot in there. I do think that it would have been beneficial if they turned on some AC or something. But I really didn't mind. The cast members were super nice, and yes, we got our merchandise. I will post pictures here. Hopefully they do load and work this time. But this was the merchandise that they had. They also had a cup, and they had a, basically everything you see there. I think the cup is the only thing that's not listed. But it's a very nice stainless steel cup that basically has the Darth Vader Star Wars night design. So not too much different, but very, very nice. We were giving our lanyards when we entered the park, and also the maps were different too. They weren't like the long way maps. They were actually a square, which made it really easy to hold. It made it very easy for me to store and actually keep on my person. So that was very, very, very nice. We did merchandise, and then we went over to Galaxy's Edge. I, of course, wanted to get some pictures. As you all know, I cosplayed as General Hux. I was really excited to be in Galaxy's Edge as cosplaying as a First Order officer, but especially as Hux. Y'all might not be able to see it, but for me, it was just so cool to be there, especially around a lot of other people that were cosplaying. And I saw a lot of Kylos. I actually got to meet another Hux cosplayer. He was really sweet. He's probably about 9 or 8, And he had the orange hair. He had went all out, and it was so sweet. The whole family was like first order themed, and I thought that was just the cutest. So he was super nice. We got to talk for a bit. And then I saw, I think, three Matt the Radar technicians, and that was really cool too. So, I love cosplaying as characters that aren't as loved or not a lot of people know of. And for me, like, seeing like myself there, it was kind of like a dream come true, which I know sounds really weird, but seeing the cast members, especially on Rise of the Resistance, like that's one of my dream jobs, and having that type of job. And for me, my life is, I'm not going to say terrible because I feel like that's so self deprecating, but my life, in real life, I don't have the outlet to talk about Star Wars like I normally do. I don't have people in my life that like Star Wars as much as I do, and a lot of times I'm not able to have these types of conversations that I have on the podcast. And that is one of the things I love about this podcast, is that I get the opportunity to do this, but in quite, all honesty, I really am still not a part of a bigger Star Wars community. And yet, when I go to these events, everyone is so nice. Everyone's talking about Star Wars and the different movies. And I always feel at home. But for me, cosplaying and then being there in Galaxy's Edge, it was a very therapeutic version of escapism for me. And it made me feel at home. And I know you're probably like rolling your eyes. That's really over the top and it's not that deep. And you're right, it's really not. But for me, that's how I felt. And that's kind of what made the night really special. I really needed it after the last couple months I had. And it was nice to just escape for a second and do that. So we got to be able, we were able to go on Rise of the Resistance, which was really, really nice. Cast members were so nice too. I will say this again, everyone was so sweet and nice and excited to be there, which is a lot of times what I miss about the Disney parks. And I feel like that, these magical moments don't happen as much as they do. But I had the first order officers, calling me colleague and, saluting to me. And it made me feel like I belonged in this world. And it was very special. They each took their time to just make that a magical moment. And for me, that's all I needed. That was all I needed. So got to go on that. Saw the boys again. They were great. Everything was working. It was awesome. We went ahead and there were a lot of food options. Now, I have heard on social media that people actually liked these food options more than they did last year. There were a couple new things, and there's also a couple of returning things. So, I went ahead and had the Tropical Hideaway, which was a mango pineapple Dole Whip with an ube dusted croissant. And this thing was weird. This thing was in like the best way possible. It tasted like I was eating something out of the Star Wars universe. The Dole Whip was amazing and sweet. The Dole Whip is always so good. The ube crusted croissant was a weird, like bitter chocolate, but it wasn't like crazy chocolate. It was really weird, but I didn't like hate the experience. I wasn't like, this is disgusting, get it out of me. It wasn't bad at all. And then on it was like this chocolate piece that was dusted with Pop Rocks, which was super, super good. And all of it together, honestly, it felt like I was eating something out of the Star Wars universe. And overall, it was very, very, very good. I, as well, towards the end of the night, I went to Jolly Holiday, got the grilled cheese with tomato soup, one of the best things that you can get there, just very filling and amazing. And I also tried the Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe macaron, the Galaxy macaron. And I had tried the Galaxy macaron last year, and the filling was like this raspberry. It was a lot. It was not good. I think they used a lot of red dye in it as well as they used for the raspberry Mickey macaron, which caused a lot of problems. I remember people complaining about that because it was so much red dye. It wasn't all artificial, or it was all artificial flavoring. It wasn't, you know, real. And for this macaron, it actually was very, very good. The center filling was chocolate ganache, funny enough, and the outside filling was like a Cinnabon cream. It was very good. It was actually probably the best macaron that I've had at Disney. Um, that has been by Disney. I think that was very, very good. And I was only able to eat half of it because I was just so done at the night. So I went ahead and took it home, and it was good the next day. So very, very good. Loved it. I do want to talk about the weather. I was hoping that it would be really cold. And I think I manifested that too hard because in California it was raining a tiny bit, not actually during the event, but they unfortunately canceled the fireworks show, which I think a lot of people were disappointed in. It is what it is. There's not much I could have done to change it. I was disappointed, but it didn't absolutely ruin my night. They had every other character meet and greet, and they had every other event. The only thing was the fireworks show. So I do think they could have showed the projection on the castle without the fireworks and with the music, but I wasn't angry about it at all. You know, I could always look it up on YouTube if I'm really interested. But that was the only thing. So because of that, I wanted to make it a point to watch March of the First Order. And if you don't already follow me on my personal Twitter, go ahead and do that because I spam posted basically all last night, and you could see a couple videos that I got of a lot of the event. So if you are interested in seeing more of that, go follow me at AvengerCat76. But I got to see Phasma front and center. I was basically the first one there, and she was very close to me, and I literally thought I was gonna pass out. My wife, my queen, she's amazing. It was great to see her too. I think that show is always so good and something that it honestly kind of makes the Star Wars night that special showing because really there's not really any other show besides the Rey, lightsaber meetup. But other than that, like I feel like the Phasma is so cool and the armor is done so well. So that was really, really good. And yeah, if you want to see the actual video, like I said, go follow my personal Twitter. And then they had the popcorn buckets. Now, the popcorn buckets, I knew they had the Jabba one. There were so many Jabbas because that was the kind of newest one that they got. And then they had the Millennium Falcon. And about 4 people ahead of me trying to get the Millennium Falcon one, they had ran out. And I was like panicking. I was like, there's no way I just waited 25 minutes in this line to go get this popcorn bucket. And thankfully, they went and checked. They came back with a whole bunch of Jabbas, but they also came back with some Millennium Falcons. So I did get the Millennium Falcon popcorn bucket, and I did get the Jabba one. The Jabba one actually makes noise, which a lot of people don't know. He is very cute and silly, and I love him. The Millennium Falcon one does light up. That is another thing. And the Millennium Falcon ones, a lot of people don't know, but they actually came out in 2015 with Force Awakens, with the release of Force Awakens, and they sold like hotcakes. And you can even find some on eBay still. And then for some reason, I don't know why, but they brought them back. Quite honestly, I really don't know why. We had the Jabba one, so I was really surprised that they also had the Millennium Falcon one, but maybe they ordered too many or something. I have no idea, but I'm not questioning it. They are releasing on May 4th the Stormtrooper popcorn bucket, which I will also rush to be getting. because it is the First Order Stormtrooper helmet. And whenever there's First Order merchandise, I have to jump at it. I just have to. So it was really cool to get those, and hopefully on the 5th, which is when I'm going again, that they will have the actual popcorn bucket. So overall, it was great. I got to ride on Star Tours. I got to see I actually rode it twice. I got to see the new showing. So the first time I actually got to see Mando and Grogu, literally the cutest scene. I don't want to spoil it for any of you that haven't seen it, or because it's something that I didn't want to get spoiled on, and just to see it for the first time is literally, it makes you smile. So their interaction was very cute. And then of course the Ahsoka with Purgles, which you've seen in marketing for the Star Tours. And that was, I mean, y'all know I get so emotional with certain things, but seeing her on there with the Purgles, and it was just like I got chills, and I'm even getting like chills now. It was really special, and to have that represented, from the TV shows, and them kind of implementing that more into the parks was so great, and something that I really loved. The second time I got Cassian, and I also teared up at that too. Seeing Cassian there, it's so earned. And I do wish they would have done something with Rogue One, or I don't know if there is a actual Andor like planet that we go to. I know the Ahsoka one, I got the Ahsoka one the second time as well. I think they're gonna kind of do that one a lot to kind of overuse it, and then mix it in with a couple others. So for seeing Cassie, and it was amazing. It was great. I want more Andor stuff in the parks, and I think people will really connect with that, in a positive way. So that was great. I also rode on Hyperspace Mountain, which they did all Star Wars themed. Unfortunately, the people in front of us actually got off. So because of the weight distribution, it was super, super fast. And because my boots and because of the cosplay, I was actually feeling very nauseous and very lightheaded. So that's not a great combination when you go on a ride. So I actually kind of just took a breather and just closed my eyes and did that entire ride with my eyes closed, which was great. So it is an amazing ride. Please ride it if you have the opportunity to while it's in Star Wars theme. But yeah, I was so done at that point. I was actually, my feet hurt so bad that I had to get Star Wars Crocs. Now, okay, I say had to. They actually helped me a lot. I don't think I would have been able to survive the end of the night without them. So I was just wearing my Hux cosplay with Star Wars Crocs on, and I literally at that point I did not care. I did not care whatsoever. I was carrying my boots. I was like, I can't do this. This is terrible. I honestly know why Hux blew up those 5 planets. If I had to wear those boots every day, I would. I would totally do that. So that was great. I was able to get the annual pass holder. I thought it was a pin. It's actually a patch that you get, which is okay. I don't quite know where I'm going to put it. I'm a big pin collector, as you all know. So for me, that, I love pins. I love being able to pin that on stuff. But with the patch, I was like, I wonder how I'm going to put that on stuff, or how I'm going to let that sit. So, I don't know. I do prefer the pin. I think this patch was a little weak, in my opinion. As you saw from my last Star Wars Night video, the pin that they had on Mustafar with Anakin and Obi-Wan, amazing. I loved that so much. So I'm just kind of, this patch was underwhelming in a sense. It really didn't have much going on. So yeah, honestly, amazing night. I do want to talk about cosplaying for a bit. So I cosplayed as Kylo last year for Star Wars Night, as well as Star Wars Celebration. This was the first time that I had worn my Hux cosplay, and to say it was heavy and it actually wasn't uncomfortable. I'm just going to say really heavy was, it's an understatement because it was piled on. The own jacket, it just added so much more weight, which then did not help the boots, which then didn't really help anything. So for me, with the cosplay aspect of it, do I think I might have had a better time if I had not cosplayed? Absolutely. But was it worth it to cosplay at this event and get these interactions with these people and to be there in costume? Absolutely. So it's really about your own comfort. If I ever do it again, I don't know if I would cosplay. I've cosplayed the last two times. I've done my dream. I have cosplayed as Kylo Ren and I've cosplayed as General Hux. I'm kind of good on the cosplay train for a bit. The Hux one is very much a collector's item for me and something that I'm gonna store away and keep very nice and neat. My Kylo one is kind of just hung up in my closet. There's not much more that I can do with that one. And definitely the qualities for both are so different because the Kylo one was very thin as well, and the Hux one is thick and actual suit material, and it is literally terrible. I will link Mayela Couture. I will link her information in the description if you need any type of costume. She is very affordable. She is the only way that I actually made this cosplay work, and she did it in a matter of 2 weeks. So if you need any costume, even if it's for Halloween or trying to find an affordable cosplay or know someone who's trying to find an affordable cosplay, please check her out and give her some love, and she can really do anything. This cosplay is, I think, the best one I've seen and way better than what I would have paid, 2 times more for online and probably not have even gotten it in time. So, huge shout out to her. She's amazing. And go support her. Overall, great night. I didn't actually get to do any character meet and greets. I get major anxiety when meeting characters. I kind of talked about this last time. I wasn't a huge fan of wanting to meet certain characters, but at the same time, I think the map wasn't really a good thing at telling who was meeting where. All it had at the front was light side character meetup and then dark side character meetup. What does that mean? Which characters are meeting? So that was a bit confusing, and I felt like the characters were a lot more far and few between. There wasn't like Luke and Leia like last time. There wasn't K2SO. There was R5 and the Jawas, but that was kind of, it in the Ewoks. There wasn't much meet and greet going on, and I was a little surprised about that. I don't know how people felt about it. Quite honestly, it didn't really affect my experience, but if you're going to take pictures with certain characters, watch out. There was no Kylo Ren meet and greet. That's also another thing too. That was going to be my one meet and greet that I really wanted to do, and he was not meeting. So I am a little confused of how they choose which characters are going to be out. I think if Kylo was meeting, he would have gotten a lot of people. There were a lot of people cosplayed as Kylo. There are a lot of people cosplayed as First Order personnel, or even Matt the radar technician, So I felt like it was a missed opportunity, and I was a little disappointed. And then, of course, Phasma does not meet. She should, but she doesn't. So overall, had an amazing night. Would do it again. The same thing as last year. I totally would do it again. Probably just not cosplay. I think my cosplay days are over. But thank you all for listening. Let me know if you guys are interested in going next year, or if you're going this year. I do know a couple people that are have their days scheduled in May, and I'm very excited for you guys. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for supporting and just being here for me and living, me living my delusional life and having some Star Wars fun. So thank you all for listening.